So what we're going to really work on today is the confidence to sit down with a strat session with these buyers so you will bring your value proposition to the table and really be able to close them. So what does it mean for us on August 17th? What it really means is that it's going to push us to require a commitment from these buyers before we actually show them a property. So some of us are very, very good at this. And the ones who are good at this are the ones who really value their time. I value my time so much. So I don't waste a lot of time showing buyers. Now, I know some of you may be saying, well, Chanel, I don't even know these people. I don't know that I want to commit to them. I don't know that they want to commit to me. Where do we fall along this process? But I'm going to tell you that the more that you show them that there's a process in place on the front end, the more they're going to trust you implicitly from the beginning. So I don't work Flex Zillow leads. I don't work leads that are bought. So it may be a little different for you all who have that as your lead gen coming in. But the best thing that you can do is go ahead and set up that process to ensure that you're getting in front of the buyers in a very positive way. So in North Carolina, like I said, we have to have a buyer agency in place already. So what I do is when I get that first phone call, I ask them, how did they receive my information? How did they reach out to me? Sometimes it's from a listing that I have. Sometimes it's a referral. Sometimes they just go on Google and they see my reviews on Google or on Zillow or in other ways, and they give me a call. The first thing that I ask is, I want to secure a strategic session with them. And I say, I'd love to secure a strat session with you. And they always say, well, what is that? And I said, well, this is my opportunity to share with you exactly how I'm going to work for you and ensure that we find the property that you're looking for. And so I don't like to call it a buyer consult, and a lot of people do. And a buyer consult to me is a buyer's agent who sits down and says, okay, now tell me what you'd like. What type of floor plan, how many bedrooms, how many baths, what's your price point? I'm not discounting that, guys, but that's not the purpose of a strat session. The purpose of a strat session is to really work around the two fears that every single buyer has. The two fears that every buyer has is fear of missing out and paying too much for a property. So those two things, if you can actually, I don't know why I just had balloons go in front of my face, but that was super cool. Those two things are amazing. So again, a lot of my success has come from really discerning who I'm going to get in front of. So I feel like we're constantly taking all the poop that's in front of us. So whether they're cold calls, knocking on doors, all these massive leads that come in, and we're trying to turn this poop into gold, that all this gold that we already have in front of us just turns to poop, right? So I want you all to be super, super mindful about whom you're choosing to spend your time with, and it starts with the strat session. So the strat session is your opportunity to show off. And I don't want you to talk about how many sales you've had. I don't want you to, think about it depends on how you look. I mean, this is really about you being the economist and you being the true person who can speak about what's going on in the market. You are the expert. When I say showing off, I want you to be able to either by Zoom or in person, sit down and share with them exactly what the conditions of the market are. What is the price per square foot? What type of concessions are you seeing in the market? What are the interest rates that you're seeing in the market? You all should be able, off the top of your head, be able to tell all of this information to these people, because that is already out of the gate going to be able to really show the difference between you and so many other buyer's agents who walk in. Because firstly, how many do you know who actually have a strat session document that they share with buyers? One, that's right. So before we end in June, and Jordan, before we end in June, I want you all to actually create a strategy document for these buyers. That's extremely important. And we'll walk through how to do that. But when you're talking to them on the phone, I want you all to say to them, great, I really appreciate you reaching out to me. What are one of the two ways that we can sit down? Would you like to meet in Zoom or would you like to meet in person? So it's kind of like I always say, I let my boys choose their clothes, but I put the outfits out that I want them to choose from. So no matter what, I'm very pleased with the outcome. So you're giving them the opportunity to be in control, but no matter what, you're getting the appointment, right? So no matter what, that's what I want you to do. So I want you to set it up, and they'll say, well, what is the purpose of meeting that? And you'll say, because I know one of the two things that you are most fearful about is either fear of missing out or fear of paying too much. So that's why it's important for me to sit down with you and really discuss with you how I show my value. So there are three things that I do on a regular basis that a lot of buyers agents don't do. The first is that I audit financing of buyers to ensure that they are getting the best lender in place to help them with the loan that they need to get the property that they need. Off-market properties is number two. So everybody can go into the MLS and, please, I want you to retrain yourselves to not say to somebody, I'm going to set you up on the MLS. And by doing so, you're going to get all the properties that are available. Do you know how many other agents are doing that? Every single agent in the market. So yes, you're going to set them up to get an MLS search, but you're also going to tell them that by working with me, you're going to get off-market properties that are only available to buyers who work with me. Now, I don't know about those who are not with EXP, but if you're with EXP, we have a beautiful off-market property system that's set. So for those of you who are not with EXP, just reach out to your BIC, reach out to the person in charge and just see what type of off-market properties that you have available. For those of you who are really farming neighborhoods, I guarantee you already have off-market properties. You have sellers who whisper in your ear, well, you know what, Chanel, I don't really want to list right now, but if you have somebody who's interested, I'm willing to show the property. These are off-market properties, and that puts you ahead of everybody else in that buyer situation. Another thing is strategy. I think that we do this as buyer agents so often that we think that everybody else functions the way that we do. And I want you to get very clear and concise about what your strategy is to ensure that your buyers do not miss out on properties and are not paying too much. One that I utilize on a regular basis is an escalation clause. So you cannot utilize an escalation clause on every single listing, but you can on a majority of them. And it has saved my buyers tens of thousands of dollars. But a majority of agents don't even know what an escalation clause is, nor do they know how it works or what it does. So these are the three things that I really want you to start focusing on that's a part of your strat session.